Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to In the Ladies Room with Nikki and Michelle. Today is November 12th, 2020. Say hi to people, Michelle.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Today we have a very different topic because it's really not a topic, it's more of a mashup. We're going to talk about a whole lot of different things. We want you to please to contribute to this discussion, ask questions, leave comments, but most of all, please share your affirmations. I have a short video clip I just want you to listen to for the first part of the show so that we could use some of that to frame our background as well. Please, 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 please hit like and share. Remember that we are streaming live on Instagram and Periscope and YouTube. My YouTube channel is under Cheryl Ward. There are so many Cheryl Wards. It'll be hard to get through, but I'm there. I promise you. If you put Cheryl Ward in the name of this show, which is In the Ladies Room with Nikki and Michelle, you'll be able to find it. So please invite your friends to come on into the room. Share any comments, anything that you like. Remember, hey, Nicole Willis.
Hi, Nicole.
Good evening. So I'm burning up here, so excuse me. I think I'm going through that time. You know, that time in your life when the ladies get your little flashes every now and then. So anyway, I'm going to share a short video. I want you, hey, Doris. I want you guys to listen to, think about, and ponder as we get into our discourse. Remember, today is a mashup. We're talking about a whole lot of different topics. You can throw in whatever you like as a topic. If you have a question, a comment, we're just going to let the dialogue organically move where it is. But I did want you to hear this. It's like 6 minutes. So please bear with the lady. But I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You'll love the story. It's food for thought. So please, again, just hold on for a few minutes and listen.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Perry, and I want to tell you a story. I was 16 going on 17. There was a boy in my town who said that he thought I was amazing. He began to write me letters of love. He told me that he thought I was wonderful, that I was smart, that I was beautiful, that I was kind. He said that he wanted to be able to spend his life with me. Like all kids do, I was so excited that I shared this with a friend. And she immediately shared it with an elder in our community. And they called me in and sat me down. This elder told me that this young man was from an important family. And people in important families look for important people to love. That if he loved me, if you wanted me, it was only for one thing, and that one thing was sex, because nobody would want me that way. She informed me that because I was dark and fat and from a poor family. She actually said to my face that my mother was a nobody, an alcoholic, and there's no way this boy from an important family would want a nobody like me. I somehow believed that. I believed it because I believed in them, and they had convinced me that they loved me and they were just trying to protect me. And so I rejected this man's attention, this young man. I wouldn't respond to any of his letters, any of his messages. One day he came to my house and I was there at the door, and I looked at him and I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You don't want me. And he said, that's not true. And with tears in his eyes and tears in my eyes, I shut the door on him and his heart. Years later, I went away to college, and I began to see, the more I distanced myself from that kind of thinking, that maybe it wasn't true, but I loved them and I believed them. I wrote my dissertation on colorism, the impact of prejudicial and preferential treatment based on skin color differences in same-race people. I came to understand that when you could understand that kind of treatment within groups, you could better see it across groups. This thing starts out here, but it's maintained within here. I began to see it in my white sisters, where they compare each other by hair color and weight and who they've married and how big the ring is and how fancy the wedding is and how fancy the gender reveal is. I see it in my white brothers who look to whose wife has what and what kind of car they drive and which clubs they belong to, and my black brothers who compare themselves on only what is given. This strength, bravado, form of whatever, and how much you have, and this and that, and who you're with, and how many of them they are. This thing starts outside of us, but it's maintained within us and by us. And this cult of belief that says we are not worthy is the biggest lie perpetrated on those with the brightest of lights, because we all have bright lights, but we need each other to see. But if I can diminish your light, and you in turn diminish my light, then we'll never believe the truth that we are all beautiful, amazing, miraculous, wonderful beings of light. We will never come to see that no matter how we differ, we are connected. But if I can diminish you because someone diminished me, and I win. You don't win that way. This narcissistic trickle-down effect is affecting all of us into believing that there is some separation. Nobody can tell me now that I'm not beautiful. No one can tell me that I'm not loved. I know this for true. But there are moments when I slip into, am I good enough? And the moment I begin to think for a millisecond, somebody walks into my life to remind me how worthy I am. The blessing of this pandemic for me was to give me an opportunity to tell you how worthy you are, how amazing you are, how beautiful you are, just as you are. So today, November 12th, 2020, 9 months after this thing started, and I thought I'd be back out celebrating my 60th with my family and friends on an island somewhere. I am so grateful and so happy because I don't need any of that today. I'm going to do it next year. But today, I am complete. I am whole. I am healthy. I am loved. And you are too. I have no intentions of going anywhere. I'll be here to let you know every single day that I love you.
So I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoyed that as much as I did. I shared the link for it so you could go on and watch it yourself. Dr. Batiste Berry is very passionate. So she's always with a tear in her eye, telling her stories and sharing her experiences. And that was a wonderful experience that she shared today. And I wanted to share it with you because we're coming off of this, of course, awful, dreadful, divisive election. And, the problems that we face in our country today. But some of the things that stuck out to me in that particular video was one, that we are all one, that we have to start understanding and realizing that we are all one, and the separation and division that we have within ourselves are divisions that we create, and that if we could create them, we could also destroy them. And so some of the ways in which we can destroy them, we can talk about tonight. So whatever, yeah, I see. Yes, Nicole, that was very, very powerful. I'm going to start highlighting some of your questions. Hey, Miss Beatrice, love you, darling, for following. Again, ladies, you are in the ladies' room with Nikki and Michelle. So please hit like and share. And let's start our discussion. Michelle, I need you to sit up so I can see your beautiful face.
I am sitting up.
Well, this thing is, your camera. Put your there. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Better. Okay. That's my girlfriend Michelle. Everybody.
So there was a lot. There was a lot to unpackage there. I was trying to listen intently and discover, because she was going in one direction, I think, in the beginning of the story. So I was kind of sort of caught up in that, like where was she going with that? But it's interesting to me how we all land at the same place, right? We all allow outside factors to trigger our insecurities.
Mhm.
And so these are the things that we have to work on getting around. We have to talk about really appreciating all the things that we all have it. Mine may not look like yours and yours may not look like mine, but we all are special in our own right and we all have things to contribute. And so to your point, we have to make sure that the insecurities don't get in the way of our ability to lift each other up, if that makes any sense at all. And so those are the things that we could discuss tonight. Those are the things that we can talk about. There's a saying, right? You got to be the change you want to see in the world. So what is it that we want to see in each other? We talk about it all day long, right? And you and I, Nikki, have had so many conversations, even about things like why we don't support black businesses, why we need to do more of that. Oh, and every time you have a black business, they want a discount and this and that and the other. So we don't want to focus on the issue. We want to focus on the solutions. So how do we get there?
Mhm. I
So
like
Nicole,
right here when Nicole is saying that confidence is essential to one's character, because it really is, because it's that inner confidence that gives you the wherewithal to withstand the attacks that come from outside yourself, the attacks from the enemy, the attacks from the other, all those things that we wind up internalizing, because to some degree we may feel that whatever they're saying, there might be some truth to it. She said that in the beginning of the story. She talked about how, her the people who her what they call those, the elders or whatever in the community, or I don't know if they raised her or not. I don't have the whole story. But she said that they told her she was not pretty. She was fat. She was dark. And because of that, she couldn't be loved. And then to some degree, she must have believed that there was no inner confidence, nothing to gird her from those thoughts of her elders that would let her believe that, yeah, I am worthy. I am lovable. What you're saying is obviously not true. So these are the things that we have to work on to build with, not just with our sisters. This is something that shoots across the board for men, for women, for especially for children. As I said, I shared this link inside this particular video. So it's there. I advise anybody who has young daughters or granddaughters, nieces, and nephews, share this with them, because it's something that they should hear. They need to hear.
how do we get to the place of self-love?
Mhm. Ah, that's a good one, and it's very deep.
It is, because
Mhm.
I feel like that's where it really starts, right? I mean, on the surface, so she talked about being pretty and being beautiful. First of all, we all know that beauty is subjective. It all depends on what you define as beautiful. That's one thing. But we all have insecurities. I wanted a big booty. I'm so glad they started making butt pads. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? That's my thing. But it's not, it's interesting because people have actually made comments to me about my alleged confidence. And I do know where it comes from, but then sometimes I don't know where it comes from. One, I had a very supportive family. I have a very supportive family. I grew up in a house that was incredibly supportive. My parents and my siblings made me at least think I could do anything. They always made me feel like I was something special. So I don't know, maybe I carried that over, but I think the biggest takeaway is that I actually like me. I like me. I'm fun. I have a good time with myself. How do we get there? How do we get to the place where because what I can say, ladies, what I can tell you is that confidence, in my opinion, is one of the most attractive things ever. And I'm glad I saw Tina Matthews in here. I'm so glad she's here because she sends a lot of affirmations on Facebook. A lot of the messages that she puts on Facebook is about embracing yourself and loving yourself and how to be comfortable in your own skin. So that's where I feel like we need to start. Right? How do we get there? We know that people have insecurities. We all do. Let's not deny those. There's always something that we wish we could change, right? I want a flat stomach now. That ain't happening. Whatever. But I still have to like myself. So how do we get there?
I think when she said crucial to the piece, and I'm sure that people looked over it because, if you're not really evaluating it thoroughly, you just think of it as, okay, this is what she's come to accept. But if you apply this to every area of your life, there was a point where she said that she was about to celebrate her 60th birthday. She wished she was on an island somewhere, blah, 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 blah. So I think part of it is getting to that space where she's at now and understanding that whatever it is at this particular time and this particular moment, it cannot be changed. So if you could accept whatever is in this moment, like I said before, when we think about just being in the space that you are in and being content, that mindfulness, that space where everything is okay in this moment. When you get to that particular point in your life, you kind of realize that those things that are very superficial, they really don't matter. And I mean, the only way I could share and really kind of let this be more visceral to people is to share my own story. And that I always think about myself when I think about how in this moment I cannot walk. I could barely hold cups in my hand. There's a lot of things that in this particular moment I just can't do. And I have to daily remind myself that even though I can't do this right now, I'm still breathing. I'm still relatively, except for the things that I can't do with a physical body, I'm still healthy. I still feel love. I still love. I still could eat, which is a blessing. So what I look like all the time, the fact that I can't wear my 6-inch heels anymore. I never wore 6, maybe 3 or 4. I can barely get dressed really in the morning sometimes. Sometimes it's just all it takes me to just throw something over my pajamas and come sit in here and talk to you beautiful ladies. But in that, what I'm saying is all of that other stuff that I thought really mattered really don't matter. And that I could still find love for myself. And when you get to that place, anything outside of you, I can't express enough how it just does not matter. And I think that the way that for people to make the long story short, the way for people to get there in their lives is they have to learn how to spend time with themselves. And I mean, really spend time away from the gadgets, away from television, not even reading books. Just with you, self-evaluating, looking yourself in the mirror, looking at those parts of yourself that maybe you've picked apart for so long, and learning to say, listen, okay, my eye might be a little crooked right there. I didn't like that eye, but it could see. My nose might not be the shape I wanted to, but I can breathe. My ears may be a little too little, but I can hear. These are the things that I think that women don't really take time to do. That's real loving on yourself. And when
Mhm.
you get to really learn how to love on yourself, you'll be content in your spaces. And being content in your space keeps you from even judging other people. If you notice this, and I've said this for a long, long time, I notice the more that I judge people, it's those times when I'm really judging myself. When I'm really being hard on
Mm.
myself, I notice I'm more judgmental. So those are the times when I know I need to step away from what it is that I'm feeling about somebody else, because it's not about them, it's about me. And what other people think about me and what I think about other people don't matter to them, and what they think about me don't matter to me. Or at least it
Come
should.
on
Come
now.
on now.
Come
Come
on,
on,
Nikki.
Nikki.
So I mean, I think those are the spaces that women, I mean, I swear I wish COVID would just go the hell away, because I really would love to have just a convention for women to learn how to be in a space and learn how to love on each other and love on themselves. That's real work. That's work. You got to really literally stand in that mirror, just like they say, that long mirror, and look at all of those parts of you that you don't even love. And here's another thing about that. If it's something that you really, really detest about yourself, which you should not, but you are the only person with the power to change it anyway. So that's where we got to kind of work from. But realizing, and I think this is the connection that she was trying to make, and that I kind of was getting out of it. The connection was, to me, is that because we're all connected, and because we all are one under the universal God, if we don't learn how to see each other that way and to be more loving towards each other, we're all doomed. We're doomed in some sort of way. So it's imperative that we start loving ourselves so that we could love other people.
You know what else I took away from that, Nikki?
Hmm.
And I think it just resonated as you were talking. I think a lot of times we're challenged because we put so much of our value in what other people think or say or how they view us, instead of putting value in what we think about ourselves. I really do believe a lot of times it's like that old saying, right? You're looking for love in all the wrong places. You putting value on what other people say you should do, how other people say you should look, how other people say you should behave, instead of just embracing what it is that you like. And my father says it all the time. If you like it, I love it. And that's how it should be. If you like it, if you happy with it, that should be enough. And so by wasting time putting so much value in what other people think about you, is when you start to really distort the process. And what I mean by that is you start trying to matriculate into what it is that you think other people want to see in you. That's, we have to experience unconditional love. And unconditional love says that I'm going to love you in spite of whether you having a good day or a bad day. I'm going to love you in spite of, right? It can't be wrapped up into what I look like, what I'm wearing. Well, and if somebody truly love you, they're going to stick around. That's been proven. We say actions speak louder than words, but we don't hold people accountable to those actions. But we really should. So we got to stop putting all of our value in somebody else's bucket to determine whether or not we're worthy. We're worthy. If God made you, you worthy. That's it. God said it. I believe it. It is settled, right? So if God made you, you worthy. So now you just have to walk in that purpose. You have to walk in who you are. You can't try to be somebody else. You can't live up to somebody else's expectation. And now I like, if you add on to that, I like what you said about spending time with yourself. Get to know yourself, appreciate yourself for all the good and who and what you are. And then you can spend time on lifting up others. And I have to tell you, it's very gratifying.
Hmm.
It's very gratifying when you could, cause shining a light on you doesn't make me feel small.
It, praise the. Say it again.
Shining a light on you does not make me feel small. I'm good over here.
Hmm.
I'm good over here. It's so funny because at work, a lot of times people always say, you know, oh, I love when Michelle comes in the office. I feel so good about myself because, I'm good for a compliment, if nothing else. I feel like we spend so much time. We already willing and able to, oh, why she wear that? Why she got that on? Why she da 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 da? And you know what else I noticed? Sometimes it's so unfortunate. And a lot of times, lady, it's us. If you walk up to us, because I'll do this in a minute. I'll walk up to a stranger in the supermarket and be like, that dress is beautiful. That looks so nice on you. And sometimes you get one of these. Oh, thank you. Because it's almost like we're not even used to receiving compliments.
We're not. We're not.
Oh my God, that's so nice. Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I've said something like that to a stranger and they'll be like, oh my God, you made my day. That's all it took. That
Hmm.
was easy because we don't know how to receive compliments. We don't know how to lift each other up. We don't know how to push our sisters forward. And that's what we really need to make a commitment to do. But first, it starts with us. If it first starts with us, you have to like yourself.
Hmm. Right.
And I'm careful to use the word like because some of us love ourselves, but we don't necessarily like ourselves.
It's true. That's
There's
true.
a difference,
I
you
want
know.
to read Martina's statement, please. It's big, so read it and then I'll take.
I am beautiful, but my beauty, in my honest opinion, has nothing to do with any physical attributes that I may or may not have. I think it all has to do with how I feel about people in general, how I love them, and for the most part, I try to treat people accordingly. I try to treat them like I love them, and I still believe. Wait, I try to treat them like I love, and I still beautiful for that. I feel beautiful about the things that I've been able to accomplish despite challenges in my life. But also, I feel what's beautiful is that I'm aware that I'm aware.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Martina gives us our words of wisdom and jewels all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
what I took from that is that being beautiful has nothing to do with the outer being. It has
It does.
it has everything to
It
do.
does, but let me tell you, I'm cute now. When I put on my good girdle and I powder my face down, honey, I can make her look like something. Okay, don't let this little Thursday night situation fool you. No, but you're absolutely right. You absolutely right, Nikki. One of the most beautiful things in the world is your confidence, your ability to laugh, your ability to smile. Don't
The
nobody want to be around.
smile.
Yes, don't nobody want to be around no miserable Debbie Downer all the time.
I can't even tell you how many times you meet a person and you see them on the outside, and then from a distance they look beautiful, but you get up close and that ugly spirit come out and they just like immediately ugly. It's nothing dresses
Or you
nothing
see the
dresses.
most beautiful people, right? Gorgeous,
Mhm.
tens across the board when you look at them. And then as soon as they open their mouth, you be like, ugh.
That's what I mean. That's what I said.
Oh, is that what you said? I got caught up in my thoughts.
Yeah, you got caught up in your thoughts because but it's the truth. Is that is how it comes across. And then that thing where you see some people that you just think is ordinary and plain, and you get. I'm gonna tell you, go on to Dr. Batiste Berry's page and look at her. And when you first turn it on, you probably have not even think anything about her. And when she opened her mouth, it's like because Christy turned me on to her a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I started listening to her. I follow her now. And when she opens her mouth, I'm like immediately drawn in there. Like it's almost like I want to. You know how little kids I want to play with her. I want to.
Yeah, I want to be her friend.
I want to be in the sandbox with her because that is the kind of it just draws you right in.
Right.
Nothing fixes up anybody more than just a beautiful smile
A good person.
and a right. But again, that has to come from deep down within. If you don't like yourself, that you just can't pull it out. It's not going to be there. And if it's not there for you, it's impossible to give it to other people. And that's where the work comes in. That's where we have to spend time with ourselves to really learn that there are some things. And I'll be honest, as I said, I can't give you a better example except for what I go through in my own life. There was a time when I was just so fixated on somebody liking who I am. Because
Really?
and I'll tell you why. When I was growing up, and
I
God
would
bless,
have never thought that.
I'll tell you why. God bless the dead. My mother did the best she can with what she had, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that nobody loved me like she loved me. I think she loved the stink of who I am. She loved me, but she did some things that kind of bruised my spirit. And when I was a kid, my mother used to say that I was mean. In fact, it was to the point where, like, she had my brothers and sisters saying that I was mean. And in my spirit, I never really felt like I was as mean, but maybe I was. I don't know. I don't remember. I was a kid. So and even now, I never forget a couple of months back, maybe a year ago or so. It had to be more than a year ago because that's when I was walking better. And I was in the edge. And these people were telling me that I was a bully in high school. And I was astounded because now I'm gonna tell you. Because now don't get it twisted. I still think as crippled as I am, you better not step to me. Now I was good with these hands back then.
So you still a thug?
I'm still a thug, but it was never my intention. I've always been kind to people, and I never started one single fight that I ever had. They was finished, but I never started a fight. I always thought I was a nice person. So when these people told me they thought I was a bully, I was crushed. I really was crushed. It triggered those feelings and those thinkings that my mother had, I guess, implanted in me that I was mean. So I felt like I was taking too much energy to try and convince people that no, I'm not mean. I'm not. I don't know why I got. Maybe my face. I could be very serious, and my face might show it. I'll get passionate, and I might get boisterous. But I never thought that I was mean. And I was always constantly feeling like I had to overcome that thing. Where I remember my mother used to say that I was mean as a rattlesnake. She used to call me a rattlesnake sometimes.
So do you think that's so you think you tried to make people like you because you didn't want to be perceived as mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I still, till this day, as much work as I try to do on myself, I notice that thing creeping up in me sometimes, where I'm feeling like, they're not gonna like me. They think I'm mean. I notice that thing. I notice it. Like when people deny me, sometimes I'm thinking, well, did I say something to put somebody? And I'm more careful with my tongue than I used to be. And people still think my tongue is sharp.
Mhm.
I try to explain to people it's not that my tongue is sharp, but I am truthful. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying not to lie to you. So sometimes I might say something that you don't agree with, it don't feel good, but it's not. It's trust me, it's never out of a place of malice. It's just out of a truth as I see it. But my
Mhm.
truth could be wrong. But I'm just telling you as my truth. So I don't know, but I don't know how we got.
But see, I think that also kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? We all have to experience that kind of unconditional love. First of all, I don't put a lot of value on people who don't take the time to get to know me.
Mhm.
Now, if you take the time to get to know me and you still don't like me, that's your prerogative and you entitled to that, right? But what you're not gonna do is talk garbage and you don't know me. You don't know my character, you don't know my heart, you don't know anything about me. If you know me, that's one thing. But if you don't, so I don't put a lot of value in that. And then when somebody knows who you really are, who your true character is, your real person is, it's fluctuating because any relationship is a little bit of give and take. So then there's that, right? So you have to kind of work through that.
Mhm.
Um, but I get what you're saying. She said you wasn't a bully, but your name rang bells.
Who said
Lauren.
I, I missed it? Oh, yeah, I was not a bully though, but you better not step to me either. I was a quiet storm.
And see, and you have to understand one of the things that's so interesting to me in this world too is that just like we sitting here trying to do better as strong women in 2020, right? Trying to undo the damage that's been done for years, trying to turn the tables and make strides and all of this good stuff. You also have to remember that not everybody is doing their same work. So sometimes when you encounter people, they have their own challenges or their own issues that they're dealing with. See, sometimes it's not even about you. You mean because you don't like you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So I'm gonna step away and do me and live in my own truth because I cannot get caught up with you and your shenanigans because you got daddy issues or you got hurt unresolved issues from way back when. So there's that. So you have to really kind of negotiate all those things, and that's where spending time by yourself, I believe, comes from. Where you
Right.
can settle into that and know that you don't have to take everything personally. You don't have to take anything, I don't have to value, I don't have to put all my value and trust in what somebody else thinks about you. Somebody put a comment up. I can't remember. Oh, it was Jamila.
Hmm.
Another person's perception has nothing to do with your reality. It doesn't. But here's the fine line, Jamila. Here's the fine line. Perception is everything. Because at the end of the day, whether or not you intended something to be so, if that's how people receive it, that's how they're going to respond to it.
Hmm.
So
True.
that's why I think being able to discern the difference is really important. So Nicole says God gives us things or a thing to constructively work on as none of us are perfect. It's your plight. Nothing bad in that. The gift is you recognize your thing and are working to work on it to better yourself in God's eyes. All
That
right, Nicole, come on, Nicole, with the wisdom. You better come on now.
come on, right? That is
Nicole up in here acting like she been reading books.
so perfectly worded, though. I really agree with that because I think that really is our life's work. Our life's work is to work on those things that He's given us as a challenge so that we could learn how to love better.
Right.
Love is really all there is. It's just we don't exercise it. We don't, a lot of us act like we don't know. And again, when we said that this was going to be a mashup discussion this week, it kind of was like my head was all over the place because it's so weird to want to be in that space all the time and just take those words that Dr. Batiste was talking about and want to just live from love. But then you have to kind of navigate the situation that we have.
Exactly. Exactly. Because love is fluid, right? It goes both ways. It's like being in a relationship. I can't be the only one loving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can love you to death, but I can't be the only one loving. That's not a full on relationship. It's got to go both ways. Lauren has a question, and I would love to answer it because I think it's a really good question.
I can't see which one.
How important is someone else's perception? That's what I was really. That was the point that I was trying to make. It's valid but not overly important. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. It's valid because it's the energy that you put out, right? If it gets to the place where, let's say, hypothetically, everybody walking around talking about you mean, well, everybody can't be wrong.
Mhm.
Okay, everybody can't be wrong. So that might be an opportunity for you to evaluate what am I putting out into the universe? What are people seeing? What am I doing that's not being received the way that I intended to? It could be an indicator to you that maybe I need to make some adjustments. But what it doesn't do is mean that you change completely who you are to try and fit somebody else's narrative. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. It may be something to look at, but it does hold some weight in terms of make you be like, well, damn, let me stop back because maybe just maybe it's something that I need to look at. And that's when little things, subtleties, like, I've gotten that feedback, right? Everybody be, I'm the silliest person I know. But sometimes people who don't know me will be like, I thought you was mean. I thought you was this, and I can't believe it. But it's because I have that RBF, whatever they call that, the RBF face or whatever. Oh yes, I have it.
I never heard of that.
It's the resting bitch face. I have it.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yes. And so if you're not constantly smiling, so that's why I say things like being able to smile, being able to give a compliment, being able to be open a little bit, embrace people, not today with COVID, but in the spiritual sense, right? Being open to people, it really goes a long way. My grandmother always used to say, it don't cost nothing to be nice.
Mhm, mhm.
It don't cost nothing to be nice. So, these are the things that you could do, but you got to remember, again, ladies, too, we dealing with a lot of people that's dealing with a lot of things. So sometimes it's not even about us. We trying to fit into situations that really have nothing to do with us. And so we have to accept that too.
So Terry says, how could you love yourself when you don't like yourself sometimes? And that's an excellent question because, again, everything is about self-discovery and self-exploratory. And I think sometimes we get caught up with the not liking ourselves based on things we've done. And when you start to digging into who you are and what you've done and how your life has gone, you have to understand two things that are very vital. Nothing happens that's not supposed to happen in your life. That's number one. And when you accept that, you kind of almost forgive yourself for the mistakes that you make. And two is you are bigger, better, and greater than your greatest mistake. And so when you live from that perspective, you stop beating yourself up about the things that you think you should have been or you should have done or you should be. And you learn to accept yourself for who and what you are right now, what you've been, because what you've been helped you get to where you are. And those are the things that we have to learn how to pull out of ourselves, because a lot of times we look into our past and we dredge up all of these past mistakes. And instead of looking at them as stepping stones, we look at them as points of failure, and not understanding that every failure is a closer to another success. Somebody, Jermaine Gibson, she had on her Facebook page today this little poem. I think it's going around. I might post it later, but it's pretty much talking about how she didn't give up her child. She was a teenage mom. It's like a tribute to teenage moms. And she talked about she could have given the kid up, but she didn't. She kept the child. And I loved it so much. And I said to them, because I don't like to participate in those challenge things.
Right.
But I said, this one I'm going to participate in because I loved it so much, because a lot of times we think past mistakes are just about mistakes when they could be the biggest blessings in your life. And
Absolutely.
oftentimes, I used to beat myself up. In fact, I tell the story all the time. When I was a teenage mother, when I was 16 when I got pregnant, and I was literally ashamed to go around my grandparents because that was like a thing to be ashamed about. But as I got older and realized this kid he is not my mistake. In fact, he's become my biggest glory and my best work. And my life wasn't over because I had a kid at 17. I was pregnant at 16, had him at 17. I still was able to accomplish a whole lot in my life. It doesn't matter. But if I had constantly looked at this as a burden, a mistake that I made, that I could not get over, I would probably still be wallowing in that same mistake, not liking myself for a mistake. It was a mistake. And I've made tons more mistakes after that. But you just pick up and you keep on going and you don't dwell on it, and you continue to find the things about yourself that you like and you love, and you share that with the world. And I don't know, those are the things, those are the tools that I use.
And can I add on to that for Terry specifically? Just
Please.
because I know her. And I definitely sense that Terry is the kind of personality that absolutely beats herself up
Mm.
unnecessarily, right? And here's what I would say, Terry. Listen, allow yourself to just be human. Allow yourself to just be human, not superhuman, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but allow yourself to just be human. And by being human, that means you're going to make mistakes, you're going to make bad choices. Hell, you might even do a couple of things that you regret. But clearly God has allowed you to get to this next day. Every day is another opportunity to get it right. And walk in your purpose, walk with pride. Listen, and I have to throw this in here before this whole thing is over. Ladies, where my ladies at? How many of y'all cried when Kamala came walking out in that white suit to
Ooh,
Mary J. Blige? Won't he do it? Okay. Won't he do it? I had to put it on face. I said, look, I ain't crying. I got something in my eye. That was a beautiful moment. But don't think for a second that she didn't have to face obstacles and challenges to get to that space. We get to see all the success stories, Terry, but don't you think for a second she didn't cry some tears, she didn't have some lows, she didn't go through some things, she wasn't ridiculed. Don't you think she wasn't talked about? Don't you think she wasn't called names? Don't you think she wasn't stabbed in the back? But and I can say this to all my ladies on the phone right now. We can all relish in this glory because it's a reflection of us. I put that on Facebook too. I said she is me. She is me. This is the power of the black woman. We able to do any and everything. And that's what I want you to start doing, Terry. I want you to walk in that purpose. If you slip and fall, just get up, dust yourself off, fix your crown, and get to stepping and knock it off. Stop, because you are beautiful in more ways than one.
inside and out.
Inside and out.
And I don't know nobody who work harder than her. I swear, I wish she
Oh my
could.
God.
I don't know nobody who work as hard as that girl.
She's
And
a sweetheart.
a beautiful woman, always have been.
And
That's
sure.
that's my big cousin.
I know, whatever, anywho. But yes, honey, our Kamala, honey, didn't she do it?
Yes,
Did
she
did
did.
she do it or did she do? But when she came out,
Yeah, I'm glad you went there because somebody had talked about her wearing the pants on the thread that I asked what you guys wanted to talk.
oh yes,
And so what they thought about people saying her wearing pants all the time.
I actually didn't see it. I didn't see anybody make a comment about her wearing pants, but I mean, I don't know.
I didn't see the comment, but when I hear stuff like that, I think about how ridiculous it is to focus on something so trivial. When here this woman, not only is she the first woman, she can claim the first Asian woman, she can claim the first black woman, she can claim the first um, HBCU woman, she can claim the first black Greek woman to be in such a high position in the White House ever. Come on. What's the silly trivial stuff all about? What is that all about? I don't even think that deserves repeating. She could wear, but I don't care if she went walked up in there with a diaper on. Go ahead, Kamala, and do your
Well, I
thing.
mean, but look how long they carried on about Obama wearing that tan suit. It was absolutely ridiculous. So now they got to find something. Let me tell you something. When you want to think about being hard on yourself, being down on yourself, you just think about these Republicans because this is the epitome of pettiness.
Right.
Okay, this is petty AF. Now you get to see what it looks like from the outside looking in, somebody that don't like themselves. Okay, now you get to see a group of people who's trying to lash out about something that they see in themselves, like Nikki was talking about earlier. This is what you don't want. This is what you don't want because that's how it manifests themselves. But we are right. Oh, honey, I was in my glory over the weekend when they made that announcement. And poor Trump.
The poor thing. Poor thing, but here's the thing about that. I mean, are we going away from, well, this is a mashup, so we can't go away.
Right.
But the thing about this that is so sickening is that his refusal to concede. and is fighting this at every hand.
It's horrible.
Not only is it horrible, but it's very dangerous for this country in so many ways. And the biggest ways is that his sycophants and these crazy people that follow and support him, they are going to continue with him and contest these results to the point where they may be decide. Well, they are having a rally on Saturday, and if
Ain't nobody going.
but well, they will go. Their people are gonna go. So if I could say, our people don't go, don't be out there in protest of them. Let their silly asses go out there on their own and do their own fight up marching, whatever they want to do. Don't get involved, because what they are trying to do is start a war. They really are. And they're trying to make it if they can't have the country, they don't care if they burn it down. And we don't want to get involved in that, because guess what? We already won. So I love the way Biden is handling everything.
Class act.
Class act. And I swear, I just hope that the media will not even pay that silly ass rally any attention.
You know what? Somebody put on Facebook, they was like, Kamala Harris for president and Michelle Obama for VP come 2024. I said, honey, if that happened, I'm gonna pitch a tent on the White House lawn and I ain't moving. Okay. This gonna be a trio. I'm gonna pitch a tent on the lawn at the White House. They gonna say, "What's your address?" I'm gonna say 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the front lawn. That's where I reside with my sisters. Okay, I'm moving in. I'm moving in because that's gonna be something, honey. That would be something. But I don't want to talk about Trump. I want to talk about my girls. I want to talk about my sisters. This is a proud moment for us, and we gotta relish in that. And we all have.
Who saw? I'm gonna share the link under here if I find it. But who saw the Alpha Kappa Alphas in Harlem doing their stroll on Saturday when they announced?
I didn't see it.
I gotta share it with you. It was so beautiful. I mean, it was like hundreds of them, hundreds, and they like went around the block and doing. I was.
Was Lou there? Was Lou there?
I didn't see Lulu there, but I'm sure she was there in spirit. But it was so beautiful. And that's what I'm saying. This is historical for just the idea of having an Alpha Kappa Alpha in the White House. You know how people say underground. I'm not Greek, so
right,
it wouldn't be me. But underground, you know how they say they take care of one another. They look out for their sisters. So imagine having one of their sisters in the Oval Office. That's huge for Black women.
That's powerful. Hey, Flip.
That's really powerful. Oh, she saw. Hey, Flip. Hey, beautiful. But I mean, just the sheer power of Black women is just, to me, unmistakable. The things that we overcome and that we're able to get over and then still strive. I mean, I feel like they could just bottle us up and sell us as magic.
I mean, really, it's that Black girl magic. Put it in a bottle, make you some coins. Yes. I have a question for the ladies. I'm going in a different direction, but this is a mashup. Mm-hmm. Ladies, get your fingers ready. In the comments, please tell me what y'all think about Candace Owens.
Oh God, why we have to go here?
Because we talking about Black girl magic, Black girl power.
Magic at the door.
Exactly. But this is an example of one of us that clearly don't like herself. That's the only thing that I can surmise. Mm-hmm. There's something going on under that exterior that I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I don't know why I'm still trying to make sense of it. I think it's the Virgo in me trying to analyze everything. But every time I see one of her posts or one of her interviews, I'm flabbergasted. So for those of you that know Candace Owens, I would love to know what your take is on her. I think she don't like herself. I think somebody hurt her in her past. I don't know. I don't get it.
Lauren's not feeling her. Well, I agree with you. I think it's just a simple case of self-hate. And here's the thing about self-hate, and this is the thing for Black women in particular, why we have to do so much work on ourselves. Because we have to not uncover some of the things that we wrestle with in our daily lives just being women, but that whole historical piece of what it is to be Black in America. That matters for us. We talked about perception. So perception in the world as a Black woman is so different than the perception of any other race of woman.
Mm-hmm.
Every other
Right.
race of woman is given this sort of softness to her,
Right.
except Black women. We're and to me it's so ironic because we're the nurturers of the world. Hell, white men, women, families grew up from the breast milk of our ancestors. So if that didn't tell you how gentle and soft we were from that point, I don't know what more you need to know about the softness of Black women. Why we get this stereotype of being so hard. I just don't get it. We are the nurturers of this whole entire world. So for us not to learn how to deal with those things in our history, that's another reason why it's so hard to even find love for ourselves and then give it out. So
And
but
what they refer to as hard is not being hard. I perceive it as strength, right? Because of all the things that we've had to endure. So there were moments when we've had to take on roles that other women have never had to even consider taking on. And so they would never be able to adjust and then readjust in the ways that so many Black women have had to do. And so they can't even relate to our experiences. And I think that's a big part of the problem. A lot of the problem, aside from racism, is the fact that other races couldn't even, they can't understand, acknowledge, or perceive the challenges that we've had to experience on a regular basis, much less overcome them. I have often said a white woman couldn't live a day in my life.
never. Mm-mm.
I don't care how many injections you get, how many butt lifts you get, how many Bo Derek braids you try to put in your hair, you will never be me.
Mhm.
You will never be me.
Mhm.
There's a shirt. They want our rhythm, but not our blues.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So
And
it's
in a
crazy.
nutshell, that's it, Michelle. I think that's the last word, girl. You hit it on the head. And our strength is what they're confusing as hard, because like you said, they could never go through what we've gone through and still be standing. Every time I think about, or even when I used to do workshops and talk about our history and talk about our history from that enslaved moment, do you realize that when we came out of being enslaved, that the thought was never for us to survive? So the
At
fact
all.
so the fact that we still here and doing well in a lot of cases, don't let people fool you and think all Black people are strung out on drugs, killing each other, or poor. Don't let them fool you. That's not the case. We're here and we're doing very well for where we've come from, because nobody else could have ever done it the way we done it.
I don't want to cut you off, but this fits right in here, Nikki. They really saying, and listen, white politicians have acknowledged it on news. Black women made this election.
Of course we did.
No,
Of
I know we did. You know we did. But I'm saying even they had to acknowledge that we went in and we did the thing.
the damn.
Right. And so the damn thing. And so when you think about the power of a Black woman, we need to take a moment to observe what's she worked on the Biden campaign, the one with the real short hair. They talking about making her the press secretary.
Nicole, put her name in, Nicole, because me and Nicole talk about her all the time. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. With the long nails, right? Her
Well,
nail.
whatever.
Anyway,
They
I know
to
we talk
picture her as the press secretary. You got Kamala Biden in there, and they talking about Biden wanting to make it really
about. No, not
diverse
Stacey Abrams. Not Stacey Abrams. The other girl, Nicole. The
with
one with.
the real short hair, like the boy cut.
Yeah.
She worked on the Biden. She worked on the Biden campaign.
I
Yeah.
can't remember her name. But anyway, go ahead.
But then I mean, but I'm glad she mentioned her. You can't forget about Stacey Abrams, right? This is
What
a
she
girl
did.
who lost her race, but still stayed in the fight and helped turn Georgia around. Simone, that's her name. Simone, yes. Yes. Could you imagine? I
Right.
just want somebody to take a picture of all of them walking down the hallway in the White House.
Yes. And really, that's what they are afraid of. They are afraid of
Well, it's coming.
the power of black, not black, just black women. They are afraid of the power of black minds and black spirit entering that White House and changing this world in a way that could be better for everybody. And see, what they really hate is the fact that we would make it better for everybody and there'll be no contesting. You know what they hate Obama for? They don't hate Obama just because he black. They hate him because he was black and he did
And
better.
smart.
Not black and better than any other president before him and after. And that's what they hate. They hate the
Yes.
idea that somebody that they put down or they made or think or wanted to portray as garbage was the best man for the job. That's what they hate.
They hate it.
They hate it.
They hate it.
Simone
Hate,
Sanders.
hate it. And it's going to be something. It's so interesting because, and I'm seeing this more and more and more and more and more, right? They want to keep us in a box.
Right.
And ladies, I don't want to turn this into a black white thing because it's really not, right? But we want to uplift our strength. It's always interesting to me though when people find themselves in a jam, when they find themselves in a bind, who do they come running to? And I say all that to say because I had a situation today, with a very close coworker who just happens to be white and found out that he had COVID earlier this week, right? And so we have a meeting today, and it was just very interesting to me how, all of a sudden he want me to pray for him. All of a sudden he want me to, you know, give him words of wisdom. What do I think? How do I feel? So we always rely on that strength that we ignore until we need it.
Mhm.
We want that passion, we want that fire, we want that strength that we ignore, that we diminish, that we disregard until we need it.
Mhm. Yep. But you know the thing is, they've always needed us, and they've always known that.
But they won't acknowledge it. That's my point. So therein lies our worth, ladies. You got to know we worth it. We
Exactly.
worth it.
Right.
And
Right.
the reality is this world can't function without us. And that's the part that they hate. Yes, Nicole said minorities run this country, just don't recognize our power. That's what it is.
Exactly.
We
Always.
are we are everything, and we have to remember that. We have to remind ourselves of that on a regular basis, and more importantly, we have to remind each other. We have to remind each other. So yes, it's okay. You have your days, you have your down days, you have your moments, but that's when we as sisters got to be on standby to pick each other up.
Exactly.
All right, that's my spiel for the day. Child, we running over time.
We ran over time, ladies, but it was worth it. I hope that you ladies got something out of it.
I
Uh,
love y'all. That's how y'all have I told
I
you
hope
lately.
I hope that you felt our heart and our sincerity in the things that we discussed. We thank you for offering up your suggestions for this mashup. And again, if you get a chance, go back on and watch Dr. Bertice Berry. She has a wonderful message. If you follow her every day, she sends messages out every day. It was a great discussion. Ladies, I thank you. So many of you that are here today, so many new faces I see,
I know. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
as well as our regular viewers. We don't take that lightly. You could be spending your hour doing anything, and you've chose to spend it with us, and we thank you for that. We ask that you come back each and every, well, next Thursday and the Thursday after. We're going to take a little break because next Thursday We just need a little time off, and then the following Thursday
It's
is.
Thanksgiving.
So we'll take a little break, and we will see you back here on the 3rd, I believe.
And I
That is.
don't want to give too much away, but we working on some surprises for you ladies behind the scenes. So just keep your fingers crossed that everything works out.
Yes, please.
What Laurie doing in Puerto Rico?
She's vacationing. She's in.
Puerto Rico. Hey, Puerto Rico. Nikki, they said post the AKA link.
Okay, I'm gonna post it. I have to find it, and then I'll post it back on here again. But we love you, ladies. Thank you for joining us. And remember, we're here Thursdays at 7. The next 2 Thursdays we are off, but you will definitely get. I hope you guys get the notifications if you would like the notifications. Sometimes I know it could be a pain to have notifications pop up all the time, but if you would like the notifications for in the ladies' room, please turn on your notifications, and then you'll see when we go live. But again, we love you. We thank
Love
you
you.
for us. Lift each other's crowns up, please. Straighten your sister's crown. Give her a compliment. Give her some affirmations. Let's love ourselves so we can love each other better.
Ah, Tanya.
And until next time, that's okay, Tanya. You'll
No, it's not okay because I called her last week.
leave. Don't be fresh. See, you see, I have to get her told every so now and then, right? But anyway, Tanya, you'll rewind it. You'll see it later. We love you to death. No, we love you to life. Anyway, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Love you.
Love you guys. Enjoy.
Bye.